outside. Thank you, that was perfect timing. So real quick, I just want to kind of go over my rules and regs. And first and foremost, if I come to you, you are more than welcome to record the information that I share. Because I always say I'd love for people to record it. Not that everything's accurate, but some of the bigger validations coming at the moment, you might be like, I don't know, I don't have a clue. And then you have it recorded, and then you either have the epiphany of talk to somebody like, I completely forgot, or I didn't even, I'm like, yeah, but your people did, they knew, and you gotta record it instead of really, did he say that? Really, did he? So, I was wanting to be here, yes
They
ma'am.
can't hear you on here. Could you use it just for them? Is that
Of
okay?
course, yes,
I'm
of
so
course.
sorry. Let me just see, because Lisa's
This
watching.
is, I'm used to the things on here. You guys can hear me okay?
Yeah, that's
Okay,
better.
perfect.
Yeah.
If, I'm just gonna put this right here and then you can you hear me? You guys okay?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome,
Yeah,
beautiful,
it's okay.
great, I'm honored. Now, I just wanna kind of go over my rules and regs and just touch upon a few things, okay, if I may. And that is, for myself, I am connected to somebody who consciously took their own life, or suicide as we perceive it. And as I always share, unless you have your own experiences or you graduate, if you haven't, then on average, if that circumstance happens for us and we'll be here, it's like, I hope they're okay. I hope they're in a good place. My thing is anybody who comes through to me is only on the good channel or I do not exist. Funny but true. I got my rules and regs to go, you honor this or we're not doing it. And so they don't bug me. So, anyhow, if I may share, the act of consciously taking your own life is only the experience to get you to the other side. And now you'll see why I say things only hold the value that we place upon it. And as I say, the act of consciously taking your own life is not always a good thing, for it can certainly be devastating for us here to pick up the pieces and keep going. However, the act of consciously taking your own life is only the experience, only the catalyst to get you to the other side. And now you'll see why I say things only hold the value we place upon it. Because if the act of consciously taking your own life always means you're a bad person, you're gonna go to someplace bad, my response is, wow. Then I guess the person who jumps on that grenade to save the entire platoon's a bad person. For me, I would have respect, appreciation, and gratitude for that person who did the exact action of consciously taking their own life. And yet at one end of the spectrum, they're a hero. On the other end, they're a zero. I'll guarantee you, as crazy as it is, as surely as you're sitting here, no judgment ever. On the universe, it is love. And unless you have your experiences like, oh, it's love, yeah, it's that. Well, that stuff's real. And just for me, that's all I can speak about. But as I always share, the more that I know, the more I know. I don't know nothing, man, but I'll share my perspective. And I love bringing this planet together because we are going to help ourselves. We can't do it for you, we will do it with you. And if we can get the methodology and scientific and all that kind of good stuff, it puts a little bit more of the practicality of spirituality to this stuff. So, I don't mean to be flippant or disrespectful, it's just emotionally I'm not connected. And if I'm good, your people are great. All I'm doing is listening. This is my pinky, man. So, real quick, let me just kind of go over my rules and regs. And again, just to reiterate, you are more than welcome to record the information. Again, hopefully you're open for that because I want to push the buttons to go, please. So, real quick, my rules and regs are, one, I have no control over who comes through or the information, but I will always stay true. To me, in-laws, step family, real family, it's all family. So unless they're specific, I don't have a clue. I get it, I give it. Now, when they bring themselves through, and I know a lot of us have children that have graduated life, but notice I say graduated because to me, just to me, there is no death. I never ever talk to the dead. I'm not a scientist or a doctor, but how we perceive death to me is you die in this dimension and then you go to the other side after this. And my thing is one, everything's spiritual. Two, life is relative because we as humans are extraterrestrials to everyone else. And I always say, aren't we right now living on the other side of where we come from before here? That mean we must have died? Or just potential, be a shift in consciousness and vibrational patterns of energy. because each dimension has its own vibratory rate and seems just as solid as this one. And oh yeah, nothing's solid. It's all light, energy, frequencies, and vibrations, usually when you read it. But being able to make these connections, if I'm good in any way, your people are great. I'm honored, but I'm humble. I will always do the best I can, also to let you know who is giving me the information instead of in theirs, which is lovely. But to me, we all have they. I used to be pretty accurate with personalities and characteristics and dynamics. Go, yep, that's how they used to be. And I'm like, yep, that's how they still are. I'm just mimicking them, right? I don't know them. They're like, yeah. That's why I always say, please always be skeptical. Question everything. Just be open. That way we get the practicality of spirituality. So when they come through with a name, as I say, I don't know if the person is still alive on the planet or alive on the other side, because as I say, it's only one life, an eternal life. That's why I love the scientific methodology and the quantum physics and all that, is because the scientific is starting to validate a lot of the ancient esoteric energies, like we're eternal in other universes and all that. And I share the fact, if I may, that they have basically found that humans are energy, vibrational light beings. And with that definition of being energy in quantum physics, they've found that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. But then I say, but do you need to answer that? I feel like family, just ignoring. What? Huh? If you need to take care of anything, please do. Okay, cool thing is that happens a lot. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming to this. It is an honor to be able to share and make these connections. Again, I just want to always do the best I can to go. Anything I'm doing, everyone can do. Do you want to, and what level do you want to take it to? Truly, it is all about the love. And that is amazing. Because just for me, if I may share, every time I unify with the oneness, it is like the best mood you've ever been in, the best meal you have ever had. Truly, I feel complete and my soul is full. And I don't have all of the regrets that humans have to make life choices and we got to learn to live with it one way or another and all that kind of coulda, shoulda, woulda. And if I may share, after many years, I asked my master guide, Chi, I'm like, Chi, how is it that when I merge with the oneness, I don't have all of these regrets? I feel so complete. I feel so full of life. And his response is, well, Jamie, on a quantum level, all experiences are happening now. All potential outcomes are happening now. Your soul print of consciousness is connected to each and every one of those alternate realities and potential outcomes. And just because you're not aware of it does not mean it's not being registered into your Solodex or Akashic records, whatever you want to call it, it's just a label, as an eternal soul print of consciousness. And I'm like, God, that makes sense. Because, just being me, good, bad, happy, sad, as an eternal being, all that kind of stuff, completely loved and accepted right where we are. And every time I unify, two words I keep hearing, I am. Amazing. I don't know why, but for me, it's a mantra. And the cool thing is if I may share one other experience, just to give a flavor of where I'm coming from. And again, that's why I want to share so that people can realize you can do this. Do you want to? And what level do you want to take it to? Truly, it's all about the love and empowerment. And so I share the fact, and I've shared, and this lovely young lady, and I was talking to a few other beautiful guests before this, so I want to make sure it's on recording, that I'm not going, yeah, that's the ticket. Like, no, man, I want to be as straightforward as possible. Anyhow, within that, when your people come through, I have no control over who comes through or the information, but I will always stay true to it. As I said, to me, in-laws, step family, real family, it's all family. So unless they're specific, I don't have a clue. I get it, I give it. Now, when they bring themselves through, they'll put themselves on an energy level. Like as our children come through, they come through one level below, which is children and animals. At the same level, to me, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, brother, sister, really good friend, a contemporary, one level above you, mom and dad, aunt and uncle, grandma, grandpa, and motherly, fatherly level. Above that is a grandma, grandpa. Now, when they bring themselves through, they'll bring what I call a tag-along energy. A lot of times it will be about the person who's coming through in certain circumstances and experiences, but not always. So as this person comes through, if the information that they share isn't about them, that's fine. That person is coming through, but then they are acknowledging a person either is or was connected to that dynamic of information. And if I've been accurate, your people get the credit. I'm honored, but I'm humbled. Truly, it is incredible. That's why I love doing this, is because for me, I always say we live our entire life in one breath. When we come in, we breathe in, and when we go out, we breathe out. The trick is to breathe and we live. And what's the meaning of life? To live the experience, to me, at least. That's all I can speak about. And I do know that I don't know nothing for nobody, but if we can come together just like this, and even though it is not easy for the circumstances that have brought us together in most of the ways, it's all about the love. And knowing that, one, you're not crazy and making stuff up. That's why a lot of people will come to us to go, I'm hearing things and I'm making, I don't know, I want to make sure. And the good thing is they are questioning it. Always be practical. When we can question things, we get a solid outcome. Okay, you know what? Maybe there's something to this. Maybe there's something to this. And I believe for you, lovely young lady, Trish, we were sitting here talking, and you were sharing that it was not so easy to make it here, and you did it, which is fantastic. I'm sorry, excuse me. But I also need to say, as you were sharing, that your child helped you and brought those people to you to get a charge, in this case, to make it here. And the good thing is you didn't waver. You weren't sure. It's like, okay, but you know, okay, here we go. And the great thing is I feel like they're with you a lot, and you do make your connections.
Keep going.
Okay, perfect. Now, in addition, and I'll always do the best I can, like I said, to make sure you know who is giving me the information, just because it becomes a little more validating type of thing. But from your child, I almost want to call him your son, okay? Because if it's your daughter, she's strong. Okay, because I just feel like, it's a good thing, it's not a bad thing. But as strong as she is, if it's a she, okay, she loves you so much. And she's genuine. I feel like, because I don't know her, but I feel like, well, she's nice, but she's not going to just say that to everybody. It's that kind of genuine sincerity. And as your child is coming through, she's standing there shaking ashes. Do you know anyone who was cremated?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And again, if they give me something and they follow it up with that, I'll give you everything they give me. Otherwise, I don't know. I don't have a clue. I will not make stuff up. To me, this is a very powerful circumstance. That's why I'm always about be honest and sincere. If they give me something, here it is. If not, I don't know. Because for me, that's a big thing to go, and again, everyone can do it. But if you as the medium start putting words in their loved one's mouth on the other side that their loved ones didn't say, and you think you know better, and what you're wrapping off is not what their loved one said, and then because of that circumstance, the person who you're reading for becomes distraught and goes home and takes their own life, I'm like, frick that. Not a chance. I'm always honored, but I'm humbled. I want to do the best I can to bring us together, because once we can unify, and I will just say there's a very strong potential in the next 2 years or sooner where we have that mechanism of the soul phone. When we're talking with our loved ones on the other side, things are changing. And my thing is once we're making that connection, that's just one channel. What about all the other channels, all the other dimensions, all the other universes? It goes on and on. So in this case, for this, your child, she is strong, okay? And in doing that, you've always been strong, because we were talking and I was like, you're strong too. But it's awesome in a way that she makes me feel like she chose you.
Oh, God. I've said that her whole life.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. Okay. It's like, no, you did and she did. And it's really cool, as I was sharing, the astrology and the numerology and those things, there's a lot of validity to that. But it's a dynamic, like I said, that I question everything, but it's been fabulous to learn that a lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people who have a particular sign, astrology-wise, have a lot of those qualities and characteristics. I'm like, that's friggin' brilliant. So for me, what if just one contributing factor is the alignment of the stars and the planets at the right time in the right way for the right reason, which is love, truly. Now, in this, I don't know if you cheers to her, but I need to say she shows me, and for me, I do cheers for my mom's birthday and other people's birthdays and anniversaries type of thing. So if you don't do it, you don't have to, but she's very clear about an honoring. So I need to say thank you for that. And, okay, when you see butterflies, it is her. Okay, that's why I'm like, please always be skeptical, question it, just be open. And it won't be a silly validation like, yeah, butterflies exist on the planet. It'll be like, why do I feel like you're eyeballing me? And I always say, whoever touches your mind first is usually who it's coming from and has their individualized soul print connected to it. I call ourselves a soul print because we're like fingerprints unique. Nobody's the same. That's how our loved ones know who and where we are. Because there's a lot of time, and he's gonna like, keep going. Okay, all right, I'm trying. Now, if your daughter didn't pass in the past 3 years or sooner, then she does have a person over there that did. Okay, so nothing coming up. If it's happened, it's already happened. But coming from your daughter, as she comes through, it does not have to be about her, but do you know anyone who passed from cancer?
Recently?
No, ma'am. Well, it's not gonna be so like somebody on the planet, 10,000 years ago. No, ma'am. But if you're recording it, don't worry. Nothing coming up. Nothing coming up. But it's already happened. But your child is giving me that kind of a validation. And again, that's why I love for people to record it. Is sometimes you might be like, I don't know. I don't have a clue. And then it is, and that's your phone, or you're recording, and I didn't touch it. And then that way, it's a solid validation. That Joe Schmo, meaning me, didn't know me from anyone, but that was a lot of information that seemed to be pretty accurate. I'm like, right. And I need to say, you are very intuitive as well.
Yes,
You
I
cannot
am.
hide that energy. It's like
Yeah.
it's there. And the good thing is, you're doing more of this connecting. You are doing more of the connecting. When we can be practical and fit this in, because you're strong in your way, so people will feel more comfortable to go, okay, so if you're gonna say something, you've already thought or felt it through, or you're not gonna just throw stuff out there. You'd be like, well, it'd be straightforward is the point. Now, in addition, sometimes there could be a potential for you to be the messenger for someone else like I am for you. Okay, because I'm like, doesn't always have to happen, but I need to say, there's a push on this that I feel like I need to acknowledge somebody who's already over there, okay, this comes from your daughter, but already over there, that whether intentional or accidental, the person's own actions caused the way that they graduated life. So either somebody committed suicide or like an accident, whoops, didn't mean for that to happen, but their own energy is that kind of connection. Okay, so I don't know where to go with that except that does come from your daughter.
Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
Now, do you know anyone by the name of Robert or Bob? Robert or Bob?
Can't think of any.
Yes, ma'am. Don't even worry about it. Just know that does come from your daughter. And I don't know your daughter, but I do feel like you, if she says it, she means it. She's just very matter of fact, like, hey, just say it. Very practical. And in this connection, I don't know if you know how sometimes we'll get a tattoo in honor of a loved one?
Mm-hmm.
Did someone think about that? Did someone do that? Do
Yes.
you know? Okay, because I'm like, your daughter's pretty clear about a tattoo validation.
Yes.
Now, in addition, and I'm very honored, but your daughter is actually acknowledging something that I do all the time. And I always share the fact that for me, I'm lazy. It takes no more energy for me to send love and light to a person than to the all that is. That's everywhere, nowhere, everywhere in between, and everywhere beyond kind of thing. Because I'm like, you didn't say I couldn't. So it's kind of like the stairways we perceive it to heaven. I'm like, make it a freaking escalator. Why not? You didn't, what's the rules and regs, man? Freaking, if our cup of life is full, get a bigger cup. Just to me. If it's too much, then don't do it. Whatever works for you, but giving yourself the gift to start finding ourselves within life and less of us losing ourselves to it. Because when there are circumstances, and especially with beautiful children, it's not easy to go, yeah, be happy, it's all great. It's like, no, it's not. But when they can come through because they are alive, and that's why just from me, that's all I share. Again, I'm not a doctor or scientist, but I think you might have heard of, I call it an inner life experience because to there is no death. But anyhow, within that people will find themselves in a beautiful garden or by trees or whatever the case might be. I'm like, that's kind of physical, isn't it? Just like this dimension? What if that's all it takes is a conscious awareness of that? and then bridging from the other side as we perceive it. We have the A team, which is at the University of Arizona with Gary and Rhonda Schwartz, and they're helping us. And the cool thing is being practical. When we can systematize and categorize and repeat it, maybe there's something to the spiritual stuff, because it's important that we can, again, be practical about this. When we realize everything's spiritual and life's relative, then it's like, then let's be good for ourselves too. Hi, I'm Jamie. I'm no longer a hypocrite. I'll always be of service to others, and I keep myself included, because as I always share, people don't know how to help the one who helps everyone else. They'll offer, if there's anything I could do, I am here for you. They mean it, still know how to help you. So I've learned 58 years, more love, energy, attention, compassion I give myself is no longer narcissism, but self-realization. For I cannot give what I do not have. And most of us running empty, and when's it over? Like, okay, if that works, that's certainly beautiful. However, for me, it sounds like semantics, playing on words. But a lot of us live each day as if it's the last day of your life. I'm like, why not live it like it's the first day? Again, I don't know nothing for nobody. But for me, I'm lazy, and I want to do the best I can to go, the ability to tune in, that's all we need to do. Whatever modality, if it's sitting there watching the trees sway, meditations, whatever works for you, find your way of connecting. Because not only our kids, but our parents and our friends and other people on the other side are really hoping that we're going to wake up. Again, a lot of us, as they perceive it, kind of we're in the sleep state. Apparently. So the good thing is when we can be brought together and then start merging dimensions. Okay. And my thing is again, just because I question everything. Notice on average, when we're doing mediumship, that our loved ones come through to us as to who they were in this particular life. Not as just for me, not as an eternal being and one of the other vehicles that they were in the body. Because otherwise you'd be like, who the frick are you? So what is it? Familiarity. Again, it is comfort. And when you feel that amazing, again, I can only speak for me, but it's a little bit easier to look on this life experience here. It's like, oh yeah, that experience. It isn't so easy when we're still here going, yeah, sure, be happy. And in addition, this comes from your daughter, okay? She's like, thank you, calling it. So in this case, besides the butterfly, you'll find feathers, okay? It will be unique enough and it will be like, that's weird. It's not gonna be like, oh, birds have feathers. No easy cheesies. It'll be because my family's usually very good about having me home alone, which I love. That way we could be practical. And I share the fact that for me, most of my entire family has graduated life, and all of them from cancer. So that's why I'm like, that is freaking brilliant and amazing, because it's the gift of life that we can start living, not just existing or surviving. And so anyhow, I think those who may have had a loved one who had that dynamic cancer, you feel helpless. Like, I love you, I will do anything I can, but I can't do it for you. And I don't know if you said this, if you didn't, certainly you didn't have to in any way, but your daughter does show me, and I said it's okay to go, okay, with my family, because my family is pretty strong as well. So they were not gonna go anywhere until they knew that, one, everyone else was okay, and I said, I'll take care of all of the other stuff, don't worry about it, I want you to be okay. And very quickly, they graduated. So I can only speak for myself, but please, I always say the biggest gift we can give ourselves and our loved ones is to connect with them like they're connected with us, and truly we're a thought away. And I share the fact, if I may, here's the difference between when we mentally wander and wishful think about our own lives and when our loved ones are communicating with us is this. When we mentally wander and wishful think, it tends to come from the inside out, like, okay, all right, there's mentally wandering. However, when we're being connected with, it's like this, boom. When they tune you in, you didn't saunter back. And I always say, whoever touches your mind first is usually who it's coming from, has their individualized soul print connected to it. They will do the best they can to make sure that you know who is coming through. They don't want to scare us. Just most people don't always understand all of this. And as a human, what we don't understand, we tend to fear. And on average, what we tend to fear, we usually want to crucify. Like, man, just be practical. Fit this stuff in and keep living, not just existing. So you guys are beautiful, and thank you for being who you are. Not only for you, but for all of you, because it's not always easy. Yes, ma'am.
You know, I just want to give you some feedback really fast. When you said about somebody being cremated, I just got back from the Philippines, and my best friend's son was murdered over in the Philippines. So it took us 2 weeks to get, he was cremated there, and it took him 2 weeks to, we were both there, to get the remains back. So that's funny that you had mentioned that.
Well, they did. You know, I'm like, she gets the credit. I don't know.
Yeah, that she mentioned that, because that was a big part of my life just recently,
Yes,
about
ma'am.
the cremation.
And I share the fact, and thank you for sharing that. And if you go see anyone who does what I do, and again, we can all do it, please make sure that they are hitting with accuracy. For me, that's a big thing. That's why I'm always like, unless I'm hitting with accuracy, then don't give me anything. It's yes, you understand it, or no, you don't. That's just, for me, that's a big thing, because I want to make sure that I'm not playing on physical cues or words. It's like, I'm Joe Schmo. I don't know this case. I don't know you, but if we're pretty accurate, you know, either really good guesswork or I don't know, something to it. My job is to show you this is possible, because we're ready to shift this reality as we perceive it and tune into other dimensions, other frequencies. It's really cool. And I need to say, one, because your daughter gets credit for coming through first. And we were talking, of course, before, but I just feel like that's part of her personality. You know, you don't have to be put, you're very gracious. You're like, hey, if I can do it, great. If not, okay, I understand. But she loves you so much. And she makes me feel like you are her gift as well as she was yours.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Now,
Thank you.
yeah, of course. And again, of course, we want to hear from a lot of our children, but I will tell you, a lot of times, the parents or whoever, other friends or other, will come through. If they come through, I'll give you everything they give me. That's a really important dynamic. And like I'm saying, if we can be practical, because you're very effective with people, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, you, the one in the lovely, yes, ma'am. Yep. I'm like, yeah, you, and the beautiful hair, I love that. But it's also, I feel like you're usually very good at being able to understand where people are at so that you can communicate and talk with them, not just to them. Because most of us used to be talked to rather than talked with. And I need to say that they call you the caretaker as well. Okay, so I need to say, because I don't know you that I'm aware of, but I need to say thank you for everything that you did. And I don't know if you also took care of legalities, but from a mother and a father figure for you, they're the ones who are coming through strongly. Okay, now as the father, has your dad passed?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, and you look at, you have a few years of wisdom. However, that does, some people are very, very fortunate to still have their parents or their mom or their dad still here, and I'm like, freaking brilliant. Please, you know, if they're okay, keep those connections. Make that connection for yourself. That way you don't feel like you were just here and whatever. This is a little bit of growth. Those constants are huge. So I need to say thank you for doing what you do.
You know what my profession is?
Mm-mm.
I'm a speech and language pathologist, so I work in communication. I work in public speech and teaching English pronunciation.
Oh, cool. Well, great, thank you. I apologize for my lack of awareness, but it's more validated. Well, I don't know you, I know Chloe, kind of thing. Yes. And the good thing is you are helping other people. That is huge. And I feel like you're very practical as well. Okay, and when they can see to go, you're talking like you're kind of normal. You're like, oh, you know, we're all a little crazy, or we wouldn't be here. To me, at least, just to me. But in this case, I also need to say that your mediumship abilities is increasing. Please, and I'm sure you do, however, please think about journaling these experiences. I always share the fact that for me, most of my life I was old school. I'd either be writing it down or typing it, you know, and after a while I'm like, what am I even freaking writing about? What the? So now I use the technology and I use my cell phone because I can record into that, and I have that a lot more than a pen and paper. And not only that, for me at least, through the technology, I'm able to transcribe those recordings and put it into a book, which is freaking brilliant. I love it. So I'm like, well, I don't have to work hard. I'm just going to work smart, the best that I can, because I ain't that smart. I'm always sincere, going, hey, I'm just like everyone else, truly. I just want to show you that this is a gift that we all have. Do we want to give it to ourselves and our loved ones? Or do we want to feel like it's a whole different vibe? Whatever works, whatever feels good for you. Because notice that love allows everything to be. That's why everything on this planet, good, bad, happy, sad, it exists. I just, for me, there are people in the streets with nothing and alone, as well as people on top of the hill with everything and everyone and everywhere in between. Live your own truth, whatever that is. And I need to say, if you don't teach as well, you do teach, okay? Besides you being a good communicator, they make me feel like, no, you are a teacher. And it's good because when we can feel like we're being talked with and not just to, then it's like, okay, I'm not just a number or a product or a service. And you'd be like, exactly. That's why we're having this conversation. And the great thing is because I don't know your people or you that I'm aware of, but they are very direct. Okay, now, if I may, your dad shows me my dad. Now, when they do that, it doesn't have to be specifically about your dad, but if it's not, a lot of times it'll be either in the family or fairly close to the family. In this case, when they show me my dad, a lot of times one of three things. One, either somebody in the family or very, very, very close to the family's name either is or was Bill or William. Two, is known for being very intelligent, and or three, literally an engineer. My dad was Bill, very intelligent and an engineer. So if you don't understand, don't worry about it. Just know that your dad's very clear about showing me my dad. But, yeah, funny, but my dad, I love him. I learned a lot from him. But two of the main things that I've still carried with me, as soon as I get out of the bed, I make it. And I'll always be early and wait rather than crazy and late. Your dad's like, that's what yeah. So it's a good thing. Now, in addition, and your son is coming through. And Elizabeth and I were already talking earlier when I first came in, and he was sharing the fact that, and again, pardon my ignorance, but I know that you've already written a beautiful book, but there's going to be more than just apparently the three, because there's one already out, and then I believe you were sharing that there's a couple of others, and your lovely son is like, there'll be another one too. Watch. Because I like him because he's just very genuine. It's not just what you want to hear, it's what you need to hear. And he just feels very matter of fact. And it's a good thing, it's not a bad thing. But he loves you. Okay? And you've always been strong, but you've been compassionate. You do the best you can to go, I'm trying to understand. Okay, great, because, one way is lovely, but it's not only just one way, it's that communication, it's that love, it's that empowerment, kind of thing. Okay. Now, in addition, and I believe you guys are sitting next to each other, but that doesn't always mean that you're a couple. But I need to say you're a couple. A couple of what? I don't know. I'm kidding. But in addition, I do have what I feel like is a son who comes through. Excuse me. Okay, so if you've not lost a son, great, nothing coming up. Well, we all get to graduate, or you'd be bored out of your gourd. Truly. I share the fact that some people, I want to live forever on this planet. I'm like, wow, that's a beautiful intent. However, if you really want to live forever on this planet, you know what you're going to pretty much do is bring all of these beautiful, amazing people into your life and watch them all go one by one, usually. It's like, no, I don't want to do it. I'm like, oh, okay, something to think about. Kind of thing. So, also, have you lost a child? Okay, if it's a girl, she's kind of like this lovely young lady. She is strong. Otherwise, to me, it's a boy. Okay. Now, in addition, she just like you did. I don't know you, correct, that I'm aware of. I have no idea. Okay, but I also need to say you guys are coming together even better. I know you're an amazing connection. However, sometimes, we might have different perspectives and sometimes being able to go, okay, so what are you feeling? Here's what I'm feeling. I just want to make sure we're on the same page. There's a lot of love and respect for both of you, Now, if you don't have your own business or unless you oversee people, you do. It's that strong, Okay, but from the child, if it's a she, she's like, it is. Like, wow. I feel like her facial expressions say a lot, like, okay, got it. But also, in this case, I don't know if, what's 23? I don't know. Your daughter shows me the number 23. So to me, unless it's been like 23 years, or people have been together 23 years, then I want to go, it could be any month, but the 23rd day will be a birthday, anniversary, death anniversary, or something major. Hopefully you're recording it.
Yes.
Thank you. God bless you. Thank you. Now, I need to say, because I don't know your daughter in this case, but I feel like she's genuine as well. Okay, and like you're looking at me, she's looking at me, and she's got a combo of you. Like she does. It's a great thing. Now, in addition, I don't know if you have anything like this, and if you don't have to in any way, but from your daughter, she does show me. And for me, I have a focused area of honoring for my loved ones. And I'm the ash keeper for my family. So I need to go kiss my ash. Plainly. But in addition, what your daughter shows me is, unless it is ashes, that I feel like there might be a container or something that's in the center of the shelf thing, and then off to the side, like a couple of standing pictures on that shelf, and maybe a couple of candles that are slightly angled, and either some prayer or praying hands thing off to the other side. Okay, and so if you don't have anything, don't worry about it, but it just becomes more validating. When I'm Joe Schmo, I don't know you, I don't think I've ever been to your beautiful home. However, they'll be able to show me things to go, that's either a really good guest work or I don't know, something to it. Similar laugh, like, yep, mm-hmm. And I apologize, this is like, oh Lordy. I don't know why, but I've always equated this as like Elvis. Oh, thank you very much. I don't know why, but apparently a lot of comedians really enjoyed, I guess, the old school stuff with the big old cord. I'm like, huh, no. I'll be freaking tripping over it, man. Now, in addition, do you have a daughter that's passed? Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, because she's sitting next, she's sitting next to you, and she is great. She is great. Now, are you family? Because if you're not, certainly, but I gotta say, you guys have a soul connection.
We do.
Okay, it's like, no, it's
We just
strong.
met in the elevator. And
Oh,
we
is
just
that-
kind of were like, oh.
Is that beautiful? It's just effortless. It just happens. And the good thing is I feel like you've been saying you're ready for some new friendships. Okay, because she's looking at you like it's time. And again, that's how easy it is. Try not to get the upper limit problem that most humans have. Because on average, we'll tend to do this. Every time something good happens, how about something better can happen? Why does it always have to frickin' tank? To me, again, it doesn't. So I also need to say that, is she one of two kids? Are there two others besides her? Even if there would be 10, two would be similar, and how many else are different?
She has 2 children. She was an only child, but she has 2.
Okay, is it do you know, well, she's looking at it like yes. If it's not a boy and a girl, I need to say one is strong and the other one's a little softer. Okay, so I don't know where to go with that.
This is being recorded, I'll just say.
Perfect, yes, I don't hear nothing.
No, they're both really strong.
Yes, yeah, of course they are. Yes, ma'am. And I need to say, for you, if you don't have a beautiful fur baby, I call our dogs fur babies because they're like our kids, man. True, at least to me. But I need to say, if you don't have any animals at all, you don't have to get one. But from your daughter, she makes me feel like you do have one and that they do make connections. Okay, and the cool thing is they're not doing this, it's a neural soul way, kind of like the neural pathway for information of the brain, communication through the soul, kind of thing, or something like that. Your daughter, she actually likes me. I'm like, thank you.
I could see that.
Yeah, because again, I feel like she is very nice, but she doesn't just throw that out to the people. It's like, show me who you are, and then we're good. And I feel just like that's what she's doing. Mm-hmm. And she does love the color of your hair. So if that's not fairly new in a different style, she's making me feel like it is, and you look great. Now, I don't know where to go with that. But from your daughter, and like I said, when they come through with a name, I don't know if the person's still alive on the planet or alive on the other side. But do you know anyone by the name of Barbara?
Not that I can think.
Yes, ma'am. Don't even worry about it, but you got it recorded. I'll just say, don't be surprised, because I feel like your daughter's genuine. So I've got comfort with that. Like, oh, watch, I'm wondering if she's going to be right. Anyhow, don't be surprised if you make a connection just as easily with this lovely young lady here, that she'll be like, oh, hey, nice to meet you. What's your name? Barbara.
Well, I do have friends named Barbara. I thought you meant on the other
Oh,
side.
no, ma'am, and
yes.
no, okay, because
Yes.
that's what, when you play it back, you hear me say, I don't know if they're still alive here or alive on the other side.
Oh,
kind of
I'm
thing.
sorry.
That,
Yeah.
that's okay, yes, ma'am, but that's another reason why I love for people to record it is, it does become more validating, when at the moment they're like, I don't know, I don't have a clue. And then a lot of times they're like, oh, yeah, or I didn't even know kind of thing, which is excellent. Now, if, you know how, this still comes from your daughter. You know how a lot of times we'll do like a balloon release, that type of an honoring? Do you know, did somebody do something like that?
We did. It was actually for her cousin, but we.
She's like in, I was gonna say, she's like in me too.
Yeah.
Which is beautiful. And I need to
So
say,
my husband and I did that too. We had some leftover balloons from a party, that's right. We wrote on them and we sent them up.
beautiful, excellent. And it becomes, because I'm like, I wasn't there, I don't know you, right? But your daughter also appreciates you. And she makes me feel like, thank you for being who you are. And I, because I don't know her, but I feel like she's genuine. And you've got that kind of an old soul connection. That's a good thing, it's not a bad thing. And just to me, an old soul for me is one, I always say cosmically, we are all the same age. Cosmically, we are all one. However, to me, an old soul is somebody who's been coming back to this particular planet a lot more than the average person who seems to have like a connection or a knack for it. That's an old soul. We're all eternal. Just to me. Just to me, I don't know nothing. Now I need to, yeah, okay, all right. Because I can see the beautiful computer, but it looks like there's a couple of guests that just have like a letter on it. And I just want to point it out because they're getting my attention to go, well, isn't that interesting? One's an M, one's an A, kind of like Ma. It's like, oh, that's, if you can see that right there. See how the top one's an M, the other one's like, that's weird. And it's different colors. So I just wanted to point it out because I don't know if you can see that or not, but just to make sure, because from my vantage point, I can see it. So it just becomes a little bit more playful to go, oh, they're very creative with lining things up. That is huge. Now, in addition, from your daughter, okay? I don't know where to go with that. Do you light candles? Because I need to say thank you for lighting candles. So I don't know if you do. Okay, good. Now, in addition, your daughter keeps showing me two things, and it doesn't have to be major, but one is ladybugs, two is frogs. Okay, so if you don't understand, because I'm like, I don't know where to go with that, except she drops it into my big head. And I've always got enough guts to say it, to go, don't worry about it, but from her, she's the one who gives it to me. Now, in addition, as she comes through, it does not have to be about her, but it's coming from her, my back feels tweaked. Okay, so if no one had any kind of symptoms or dynamics where they were, unless they were incapacitated, then I don't know where to go with that, but just so you know from your daughter, she's the one, I just feel like I'm here. Okay, so I don't know where to go with that, except that it does come from your lovely daughter. She's like lovely, that's, she's cool, I like that. Now, excuse me, in addition, excuse me, from your daughter, she gives me right around now. So, and it's not gonna be silly like somebody on the planet, it'll either be in the family or close to the family, that when they give me right around now, that usually means either literally today, 3 weeks prior to this day or sooner, or is coming up in the next 3 weeks or sooner, is either like a birthday, anniversary, death anniversary, or something major. Do you know, do you have an, okay, so if you understand, great. Because I need to go, your daughter is strong. And she's got, if you don't smell her every so often, you do. Okay, when we can be practical. And I need to share for me, because I see it all day long, if you haven't had this, you've got it coming up very, very soon. And that is, you'll just be sitting there doing whatever, and out of your peripheral vision, it will look like someone moving by. You'll look and there won't be anything there. In this case, that'll be your daughter. It's just interdimensional frequencies, that's to me. So when we can be practical, and it gets me, because for me, I'm like, I see you, okay. Because they are hungry, but it's impressive to me that, for me, that's all I can speak about, but there are times where, in this case, your loved ones will come to me like a day before I even meet the people. And my thing is, well, don't you find that interesting? I'm Joe Schmo. I don't think I've ever met you, yet your people knew to come to me. Because I've gotten enough validations on particular objects or items that I needed to give one of their loved ones that were still here, as we perceive it, in a way that they're like, that's exactly, in this case it was a candle, that's exactly the candle and the scent that we used to sit down and talk with. And I'm like, oh, great, because I don't have a clue. And I got a bunch of candles, but they were like, pick this one and set it down. So I did. And the cool thing is I got complete trust and faith. There is no guarantee, but I've got enough to where I know when they come through like that, there's usually going to be a validation. So I need to say, in this case, okay, and I almost feel like it's going to be for a lot of people, okay, but they show me. And what I'm going to share with you, I share with a lot of people, because myself, I have had this particular circumstance multiple times over the past few years, but not only myself, thousands and thousands and thousands of others have had the same or similar circumstance. And it's very casual, but very consistent, and they call it the knocks. You'll just be sitting in your house doing whatever, and on a wall or a door, you'll hear, question everything. Is that a rock? Did a pipe break? Oh, I don't know, whatever. Later, on a window. Did a bird hit the window? Go out and look, there won't be a bird. In this case, I asked Chi, again, my master guide, and he's not a doctor in any way, but he was like, well, Jimmy, in this case, we're creating a neural soulway, like a neural pathway for information for the brain, communication through the soul. And so each person who has that experience of the knocks is adding a stronger vibrational connection to the other side. Then you get the power of numbers, and then you get the tipping point of consciousness, 51%, which we are there now as a planet. That's why you'll see a lot of dynamics that are starting to shift. Again, just for me, I will share with you, more than likely, you'll see two different kinds of videos and things that are kind of being pushed out to humanity. One, on religion. Two, on extraterrestrials. Because when they're standing before us, and again, life is relative, where he teased everyone else. But in this case, that's exactly how your daughter's looking at me. And again, just my awareness. I'm sure there's many other realities, but I will always share just from what I'm aware of. That's all I can do. But I love to be practical about this.
So, this has been absolutely amazing.
I apologize. I didn't realize I'm sorry. I'm just flapping my gums,
Don't be
man.
apologizing.
God.
We can either continue a little, but what we usually do is to share, and we have about an hour of sharing. So if you would be willing to help with the group,
Yeah,
maybe
of
you
course.
and Reverend Sue could take one over.
It's my first outing today.
So you're
I'm
kind of-
feeling like I need to go
I
home
understand.
now.
Just
I put all my
sound like me.
energy-
Mm,
put
Good.
all my
Yes.
Introducing Jamie.
And thank you for
Come
that
be with you
beautiful.
guys, and now I gotta go rest.
I
I'm
understand.
just 2 weeks from surgery.
I understand.
So it's a miracle.
But you're still a miracle.
To be here with you guys
Yes,
today,
you're
but
still a
I gotta
miracle.
get back to bed.
So what we're going to do, though, is to break into sharing groups now. So we're going to say goodbye. I just want to show everyone the MA that Jamie was talking about, which is pretty
Yeah,
cool.
because I didn't know if you could see it also, but I'm like, wasn't that kind of interesting?
And we're
I
so
didn't touch
grateful
it.
that you were here with us. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you, Lisa, for handling that as well. And as I